Consider this: a country torn apart by war, losing key infrastructure to heavy shelling. Thousands of lives have been lost, and hardly any money is left in the government's kitty to incur basic costs. Sounds bad, right? That's exactly where Ukraine's economy currently is. Such is the equation now that Kyiv is only dependent on its Western allies to keep the economy afloat. The prolonged war with Russia has left Ukraine battered. Conditions have gone from bad to worse. Inflation has been hovering over the 20% mark for the last 9 months, and a massive financial deficit has left Kyiv months into the Russia-Ukraine war. The World Bank had estimated that Kyiv's economy will contract by 35% in 2022. A nation that traditionally relies on high exports, Ukraine's revenues dried up as major infrastructure and seaport facilities were affected due to the war. As 2022 comes to a close, Ukraine has some fresh problems to deal with for next year's budget. Now, a big jolt to Ukraine's economy has come in the form of a revelation by the country's Prime Minister. Do you know this guy? He is the Prime Minister of Ukraine. He estimates that his country will have a deficit of a staggering $38 billion. Yes, you heard that right. Kyiv barely has any revenue source left to fill its coffers and bring down the deficit. The Prime Minister of Ukraine therefore expects the EU, US and IMF to come to the rescue. Repairing the damage and bringing a semblance of normalcy in Ukraine will require support from not just one but multiple nations and financial institutions. The IMF had earlier estimated that Ukraine would need a minimum of $3 to $4 billion per month to stay afloat. It added a word of caution as well. IMF's managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, said, and I quote, "We all have to be alive to the possibility that social and infrastructure requirements could push financing needs beyond this range, depending on the evolution of the war." Talk about aid to Ukraine, and you cannot forget to mention the European Union and the United States. Both have vowed to support Kyiv for as long as it takes. Let's take the EU first, and the main aids it is pushing for. The first one is a €9 billion package. As of November, guess how much the bloc has actually paid Ukraine? Just €3 billion. In fact, the delay even pushed Zelensky to put in an embarrassing reminder to its ally. He said, and I quote, "Thank you for the funds that have already been allocated, but a decision has not yet been made on the remaining €6 billion from this package, which is critically needed this year. Then there is the recent €18 billion aid for next year that will be made in installments of €1.5 billion per month." There's one underlying theme in the two packages: Europe dragging its feet. Facing opposition from countries like Germany and Hungary, the EU's unity seems to be crumbling. Besides, the bloc also needs resources to prepare for an imminent recession and energy crisis at home. When it comes to the US, Joe Biden seeking another $37 billion from Congress would be music to Zelensky's ears. However, given how the midterm results have panned out, the Republicans are on the brink of a majority in the House of Representatives, and things could soon get very difficult for the Biden administration. Ukraine is in a tough spot. While it may have its allies, the money Kyiv requires may face additional delays. So, the possibility of getting its gigantic $38 billion seems grim. Do you think Ukraine's economy will survive for long like this?